Hey guys, it's Belle, and in this video we are going to be reading through and translating St. Augustine of Hippo's commentary on Psalm 5 verse 9. And as usual, if you want to pause the video and have a go at translating this on your own before I give my commentary, feel free to do so. And also there will be linked in the description a playlist where you can get all the other videos in this series going through St. Augustine's commentary on the Psalms that I'm doing. And without further ado, let's get in and start reading Latin. Domine reduc me in tua justitia propter inimicos meos. Sati sic declaravit in perfectione se esse, id est in provectu ad perfectionem. Non dum in ipsa perfectione, quando ut deducatur ex optat, in tua justitia autem non in ea quae videtur omnibus, nam et malum pro malo redere justitia videtur, sed non est eius de quo dictum est. Qui facit oriri solem suum super bonos et malos, quia et cum punit Deus peccatores, non malum suum eis invert, sed malis eorum eius dimitit. Ecce inquit parturvit in justitiam, concepit laborem, et peperit iniquitatem. Lacum aperuit et efforit Deum, et incitit in foveam quam apparatus est. Convertetur dolor eius in caput eius, et in verticem eius iniquitas eius descendet. Cum ergo punit Deus, ut iudex punit eos qui legem pretereunt, non eis inferens de se ipso malum, sed in id quod legerunt eos expellens ad complendam summa miseriarium. Homo autem cum malum pro malo redit, malo voto id facit. Et ob hoc prior ipse malus est, dum punire vult malum. Okay, so what does all of this mean? So the psalm is Domine reduc me in tua justitia, propter inimicos meos. Lord, guide me in your justice, deduc me in tua justitia, propter inimicos meos, on account of my enemies. Sate sic declaravit. Well enough, here he has declared, and then we have an accusative infinitive construction. Se esse, himself to be, in perfectione, in sort of a setting out, a journey. Id est in provectu ad perfectionem, that is, in advancement towards perfection. Non dum in ipsa perfectione, so he's not yet in that perfection itself, quando ut deducatur ex optat. Whence, which is why, basically, he wishes that he might be led. So God is the figure who sort of leads humans into perfection and into perfect living. In tua justitia autem, in your justice, however, non in ea quae videntur hominibus, not in that, and then this ea here is feminine ablative singular, so it probably is being used as a stand-in for justitia here, which is justice. So not in that justice which appears to men. So in this case, I think the emphasis is on tua justitia, and actually not, no, so pronouns, you would still need to include them, the adjectives like that, so ignore that. But I think Augustine is putting emphasis on the tua here. So in your justice, O Lord, not in the justice which appears to men. Nam et malum pro malum redere justitia videtur. For indeed, return evil for evil appears as justice, justitia videtur, sed non est eius de quo dictum est. But it's not the justice of him about which it is said, de quo dictum est, qui facit ordiri solem suum super bonos et malos, he who makes his sun rise over, or their sun rise over good men and bad men, which is from the Gospel of Matthew. Quia et cum punit Deus peccatores, since even though God punishes sinners, non malum suum eis infert, so God does not bring his own evil upon them, sed malis eorum eos dimitit. So but he sends them away with their evils, basically. Ecce inquit, so behold, he says, parturvit in justitiam, he has perpetrated injustice, concepit laborem, he has conceived of and carried out the work, et peperit iniquitatem, and he has brought about iniquity. Lacum aperit, he has opened the lake, et effodit eum, and he has sort of dug it up, et incidit in foveam quam operatus est, and he's fallen into the lake which he has himself opened up. Convertetur dolor eos in caput eos, so his pain will be converted in, or will be turned against his own head in caput. So in caput here, because it's a sort of accusative, means towards or against his own head. So dolor eos, meaning I think the pain that he has caused will be turned against his head. Et in verticem eos, iniquitas eos descendet. And his iniquity will descend upon his brow, his front, basically. So this is a line, sorry, from Psalm 7, which is basically saying, "You reap what you sow." Cum ergo punit Deus, when then, therefore, God punishes someone, od iudex punit eos, as a judge punishes those men qui legem pretereunt, who transgress the law, go beyond the law, non eis inferens de se ipso malum, not inferens, bringing upon eis, to those men, de se ipso, from himself, that which is evil, malum, sed in id quod elegerunt, but in that which they have chosen, eos expellens, expelling them ad complendam summa miseriarum, to sort of endure, to carry out the greatest of miseries. Homo autem cum malum pro malo redit. So a human, however, when he gives back evil for evil, malo voto id facit. He does this by sort of out of bad intention, basically. Et ob hoc prior ipse malus est. And on account of this, he himself is evil, sort of, before he does the evil thing. Dum punire vult malum, even though he wishes to punish that which is evil. So this is, I think, kind of an interesting one. It's sort of like God punishing people is like a judge who punishes lawbreakers, and therefore it's basically just delineating two different roles, right? It's like God has the right to punish people, to, do an eye for an eye, to hurt people who have hurt others, whereas a person just doesn't. And because they're a homo, they're a person, if they do that, then they are doing it out of ill intent. And that human is sort of introducing evil into the situation, whereas God is not introducing an evil into the situation, according to Augustine's reading. God is just sort of allowing the evildoer's own consequences to come back upon themselves. Now, personally, I think this is quite poorly argued on Augustine's part. Like, it is just saying that it's different when God does it because God. But that's my personal reading on things. I'm not a theologian. And St. Augustine has a few more things to say in this last bit on Psalm 5:9. Didite in conspectu tuo iter meum, nil manifestius est, quam in tempus eum commendare quo proficit, auces enim iter quod non terrarum logis peragitur, sed affectibus animorum. In conspectu inquid, duo dilige iter meum, id est ubi nullus hominum videt, quibus credendum non est laudantibus aut vituperantibus, non elim ullum modo possunt de aliena conscientia judicare, in qua iter diligitur ad Deum. So, dilige in conspectu duo iter meum, direct in your sight my journey. Nil manifestius est, nothing is more obvious, quam in tempus eum commendare quo proficit. So this clause is a little bit hard to pass, but I think this means it's nothing is more obvious than the fact that he sets out to commend or to commit him, maybe even himself, in tempus, into the time. Oh, no, sorry, no, I'm wrong. It's nothing more clearly than that this verse means recommending him for the time in which he sets out, I think. Because in tempus here meaning sort of towards the time. And then the quo here would be a neuter ablative singular referring to tempus. So what Augustine's saying here is that this line that we've just read, dirige in conspectu tuo iter meum, is nothing more obvious than recommending him for the time in which he sets out. Hoc est enim iter, this is indeed the journey, quod non terrarum locis paradutur, which is not conducted in the places of the earth, sed affectibus animorum, but in the emotions of souls. In conspectu inquid, he said in sight, dilige iter meum, direct my journey, id est, that is, ubi nullus hominum videt, where none of the humans will see, or sees, quibus credendum non est, from whom it is not to be believed, from those people who are praising laudantibus, or who are criticizing vituperantibus. Non enim ullum modo possunt, for they cannot by any means, de aliena conscientia judicare, adjudicate, make a judgment concerning somebody else's conscience or mind. In qua iter diligitur ad Deum, in which the journey is directed towards God. So this is kind of an interesting interpretation of it. So Augustine is saying that in conspector tuo here, in your sight, referring to God, is referring to, or even though the fact it's obvious that God can see what's happening on earth, he's saying that because it's a sight which is visible to God and it's a person's specific journey, Augustine is interpreting this as the person's journey towards holiness takes place not in the physical world or in the observable world, but in the sort of emotions of his own consciousness, his own mind. And on that basis, Augustine is saying we shouldn't judge others for their shortcomings, quite literally because we don't know that journey, basically. So, yeah, there we go. That's at least is a pretty nice message to not judge others for their shortcomings. Anyway, I hope you liked this video. If you want some help with Latin, I highly recommend joining my Discord server where we have not just me, but there's a few other people who are quite knowledgeable about Latin who can help you out even if I'm not able to. Until next time, like, comment, subscribe. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope you have a nice day. Bye, everyone.